So we're continuing our discovery, for lack of a better term, of who did what, who knew what, who tried what in the lead up to the November of 2020 election, in the period between the November election and the January 6th riots, and then after the January 6th riots to try to cover up what was done, tried, said, and attempted during that previous period of time. And a lot of the stuff we're learning thanks to the work of this House Select Committee investigating the January 6th riots. In the next segment, we're going to have some incredible revelations from Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney. But before we get to that, we are now getting a list of documents from the House Committee. We don't yet or won't have all of the content of each of these documents. But what we know so far is, chilling and disturbing is probably an understatement. Listen to this. Chilling Trump letter calling for seizure of election material revealed in log to January 6th probers. The letter was created a day before Trump discussed naming conspiracy theorist Sidney Powell special counsel to probe baseless election fraud claims. The document in question, and you can find there's a PDF, and I'm putting it up on the screen. You can find this. This is publicly available. Mixed in with a whole bunch of other documents, which may or may not be interesting to you, there is an item called draft POTUS letter, meaning a draft letter from Trump. And it says, it is described as draft letter from POTUS to seize evidence in the interest of national security for the 2020 elections. Now, there are a few interpretations of what this could be, and they're all absolutely terrifying. Let's go back to this Huffington Post article, which outlines a bunch of it. The log, along with a trove of documents, was provided last week. They were handed over by Trump ally Bernie Kerik, former NYPD commissioner and confidant of Rudy Giuliani. Kerik was a key advisor to Trump's legal team, trying to cook up a narrative of fraud in the presidential election that Joe Biden won. Besides the documents Kerik turned over, he also offered a log of documents he refused to provide, including the Trump letter. Among the documents withheld is one described as draft letter from POTUS to seize evidence in the interest of national security in the 2020 election. Though Trump ultimately didn't take action to seize election materials, such a letter could be a key piece of information in the investigation into Trump's strategy to undermine a legitimate election. Authorities have found no evidence of fraud. The letter was created December 18th. That's the day before he met with General Flynn and others to try to figure out what to do. Trump also discussed naming far-right attorney, conspiracy theorist Sidney Powell as special counsel. He ultimately didn't do that. Flynn had already suggested Trump could invoke martial law to seize control of the election. Remember, this is the guy who wanted to review voter registrations nationally, right? That's one idea Trump floated. I believe it was in advance of the midterms. This is not someone who considers sacred information related to people's actual voting. And what it means, seize information, is not even exactly clear, but it's extraordinarily authoritarian. You know, we talked earlier, all of these right wingers say, when Twitter banned Marjorie Taylor Greene for COVID disinformation, when Twitter banned Dr. Robert Malone for COVID disinformation, that's authoritarian fascism. No, it's not. It's a private business enforcing terms of service in a completely legal way. On the other hand, when a sitting president drafts a letter saying, let's seize election materials, which could be mail-in ballots, it could be voting machines, it could be all sorts of different things. Let's seize it and try to use it to steal the election, which was, of course, the goal. That in and of itself deserves an investigation. That is the authoritarian nightmare that these right wingers say Twitter is actually doing. When we now understand the context of all of this, which was trying to do an insurrectious coup, what exactly did Trump and his legal team plan on doing with the voting data? Even the guy Trump put in charge, remember that whole committee but you might have forgotten about it because it found nothing, but I think it was called the Voter Integrity Commission or Committee or something. He put that guy, Chris Kobach, the Kansas Secretary of State, in charge of it. It found nothing. Even he wasn't willing to seize the voter information back during that period, or wasn't willing, maybe just realized it wouldn't work, right? And as I was reading all of this over the weekend, I don't know how many of you saw the recent film Don't Look Up with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence and a bunch of other actors. It feels much more like a documentary than satire the more we read about what this administration was doing towards the very end. Honestly, the most so there may be a spoiler here. There may be a spoiler about the film Don't Look Up. The most unrealistic part of Don't Look Up was that some people actually changed their minds once they saw the comet with their own eyes. Trumpists would have claimed, even looking at the comet, you can't believe that. You can only believe what Trump says. It must be a Soros-founded projection that looks like a comet meant to scare us into accepting government control or whatever. I mean, that's how weaponized this disinformation has become. And as we learn about all of the things they almost tried, it makes it even more urgent that we put in safeguards so that they can't even get this going in 2024. And we've talked about that earlier. We're going to talk about it again. The only streaming service that specializes in documentaries is CuriosityStream, and you can get CuriosityStream, one of our sponsors, for just $15 a year when you use my link below. This will give you access to the world's best selection of documentary films. There's always so many that you can't get on Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon. I just finished watching a tremendous film, The CEO of Sinaloa, a region of Mexico. It's about El Chapo. Fascinating. CuriosityStream is a must-have if you love documentaries. They always have the best and newest titles. They're always adding new things to the library. And you can watch on all of your devices. They've got documentaries on every topic you can imagine. CuriosityStream is giving my audience 25% off a subscription, making it just $15 a month. Go to curiositystream.com/Pacman. The link is down below.